the one arm pull-up. Basically a regular pull-up, but one arm is lazy. So what's so different about this tutorial than all the others? It took me 1 whole year to gain the strength and learn the technique for this advanced calisthenics move, and I can confidently say that I've tried nearly every progression out there, and I've shortlisted the most effective high-yield exercises and techniques to achieve it, in my opinion. This video is going to be a reflection and methods to avoid making the mistakes I made to learn the one-arm pull-up better and faster. When do you actually start training for the one-arm pull-up? I'd recommend a good baseline of at least 10 pull-ups before you can start training for it, because this is a pretty elite calisthenics move. So, this technique guide is divided into 2, unilateral pulling strength and pure pulling strength. Why unilateral pulling strength? Well, because in the one-arm pull-up as compared to the regular pull-up has you hanging out with both arms like this. But in the one-arm pull-up, you're only using one, and hence the name. So, when you let go, your whole body shifts to one side. Your whole center of gravity is altered. So you're no longer just pulling up and down on a vertical axis like this in the regular pull-up. Instead, you're going to be pulling at a more curved axis in order to engage your lats more to be able to have enough strength to pull your chin over the bar. So the first progression for the one-arm pull-up is assisted finger pull-ups. So to do it, you just get into the position of a commando pull-up. Commando pull-ups look like this. But instead, you're going to be using less fingers. So this is going to basically introduce your body to pulling more than 50% of your body weight on one side, hence building your unilateral pulling strength. So to start, just hang onto the bar, get into the position of commando pull-up, but release some fingers. So right now I'm only using 3 fingers. Lean more into the arm that you're trying to pull with. Just do the movement. In this exercise, you're not only learning to pull more than 50% of your body weight, one side of your body, you're also getting your body used to the movement pattern of the one-arm pull-up, because this exercise pretty mimics the one-arm pull-up pretty closely. So pro tip here, you want to focus on pulling more with the arm that you're using all your fingers on, because the idea is you're training to pull your whole body weight with one arm. You're not training to pull your whole body weight with less fingers. The next exercise for building your unilateral pulling strength for the one-arm pull-up is assisted resistance band one-arm pull-up, resistance band assisted one-arm pull-ups. So resistance bands come in a variety of different thicknesses which offer different levels of resistance. So choose a band thickness that challenges you but isn't too difficult that you can complete the required amount of reps. So you want to set up the band right next to your pulling arm. The reasoning behind this is because when the band is too far like this, it's almost like you're doing a regular pull-up because your center of gravity shifts forward. Whereas if it's just a one-arm pull-up, your center of gravity will just shift backward like this. The idea is that you want to mimic the movement pattern of the actual one-arm pull-up, not the regular pull-up. So one-arm pull-up is what we're trying to achieve here. We're trying to condition our body to be able to replicate that movement pattern when we eventually do the full one-arm pull-up. So the way to execute this movement is hang onto the bar, set your resistance band up right next to you, hang on to the resistance band at a level that isn't too difficult, meaning that at a level that provides sufficient resistance to allow you to complete the movement, but isn't too easy that you're relying too much on the resistance band. So say I'm gripping in the middle right here, and I do the rep. So eventually, as you get stronger, you're going to be able to move your hand lower and lower and lower along the resistance band. The lower your hand is, the less the resistance band actually helps in doing the one-arm pull-up, until eventually you can switch over to a lighter band and eventually no bands at all. The last exercise I can recommend is the weighted pull-up. So why the weighted pull-up? It really trains your explosive power to be able to initiate the first explosive movement of the one-arm pull-up and to lock out at the top. So I recommend starting off with a weight that you can handle, even if it's about 5 kilos. work for 5 to 8 reps and 3 sets of those. So over time, as you get stronger, you can gradually increase the weight to about maybe 10, then after 15, 20, 30, 40, until eventually you reach 70% of your body weight in the weighted pull-up. Why 70% of extra body weight? Because that's the amount of extra weight I managed to pull when I was achieving the one-arm pull-up. I weighed 70 kilos and I was able to pull 52 kg, so yeah, it was about 70%. So yeah. Little pro tip here, try to lock out at the top of the weighted pull-up, even just for a split second. That little isometric hold there really makes all the difference in locking out in the actual one-arm pull-up. Back when I was learning the one-arm pull-up, I was skipping the top part because I simply did not have the strength to finish the top part of the movement. However, once I integrated weighted pull-ups and holding at the top of the rep, that problem resolved itself and I could pull up higher than just above my chin to fully lock out at the top. Okay, so now on to the technique of the one-arm pull-up. As mentioned before, your center of gravity is altered as compared to the regular pull-up, and it's a lot more disadvantaged for your back muscles, your lats, your core muscles to stabilize you to be able to initiate the full movement. So unless you have really strong biceps, how do we even do the one-arm pull-up? So the way to do the one-arm pull-up is to pull in a movement pattern that allows you to activate all those set muscles together, to work together, synchronize together to be able to complete the full movement pattern. So the way to do it is, instead of pulling like this, perpendicular to the bar, instead, you want to be parallel to the bar. Just like this. And a good way to know you're doing it right is look at your hand position. Your hand grip should be a neutral grip. So when you initiate the movement, pull as explosively as you can and curve your back slightly to be able to engage your lats so that you can complete the full movement. And also try to keep your elbow close to your body when you're pulling. Another tip I can offer is not to rush the progressions at all. While other calisthenics skills like the back lever, front lever really promote the use of attempts to really get you used to the movement. In my opinion, one-arm pull-up attempts aren't really that helpful and you should do them as sparingly as you can. Why? For one, there is a risk of getting overconfident and trying to rush the progressions, because once you see a little bit of improvement, like I did, when I was trying to learn a one-arm pull-up, when I managed to first pull myself halfway, I was so excited because I thought I was going to get the one-arm pull-up like literally the next day that I started just spamming one-arm pull-up attempts over and over and over again. And as you guys can probably tell, I overtrained my arms and I had to take a break from one-arm pull-ups for quite a while. And when I did eventually get back to it, I wasn't even able to pull myself up, like legit. I just stuck like this and couldn't even pull myself up at all. So I basically had to start back from square one. So instead, I recommend focusing on progressions, getting your weighted pull-up strength until it's about 70% of your body weight. Then you can start training for your one-arm pull-up attempts. While there are other exercises out there, like the archer pull-up, negative one-arm pull-up, and the pulley-assisted one-arm pull-up, I don't really agree with them. Here's my thoughts on it. Archer pull-ups, when I tried them out, I felt like they didn't really mimic the movement pattern of the one-arm pull-up as well as the assisted resistance band one-arm pull-ups. Sure, they do help build unilateral pulling strength, but they don't really get you used to the movement pattern of the actual one-arm pull-up. Negative one-arm pull-ups are great in theory as for any exercise, because the more eccentric that you do of an exercise, the more the negative you do the exercise, eventually you're going to be doing the positive, the eccentric part. But for one-arm pull-ups, I don't really feel that that's the case. I agree that it does help build strength to be able to do the one-arm pull-up, but I could never control the eccentric part of it, and I would just always slam down on my arm, which just wasn't good for my shoulders. And furthermore, I find it a lot harder to mimic the movement pattern of the one-arm pull-up in the negative one-arm pull-up. So that's my thoughts on that. Alright, thanks so much for watching. I know it's a more advanced calisthenics move, and this might take you a lot longer than the previous 2 tutorials to master, but keep at it, and I'll just... There you go.